Security company G4S Kenya Limited has announced plans to send home 400 of its employees in the next 6 months in a redundancy notice seen by Citizen TV. The company's human resources director, Helgah Kimanani, says, or rather attributes the decision to a reduction in business in Kenya. As Jimmy Mbogo reports, experts warn that this may be a sign of things to come.
The declaration by G4S company of its intention to declare redundancy now exposes the harsh reality of the operating environment for businesses that has seen companies cut down on their expenditure to remain afloat. The company noting in part that due to the ongoing reduction in business trading occasioned by the effects of harsh economic challenges that have occasioned the reduction in revenue and high cost of running our business, we regret to advise the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection of the organization's intention to declare several positions redundant. This statement, according to economists and sector players, is a manifest of economic situation in the country. They say the unpredictable tax policy in the country has made it difficult for businesses to plan ahead.
But I think from a broader perspective, it's pointing to a challenge of a weak demand for services. So you might find more and more businesses are cutting back on labor. So if we move into this direction of more deductions on the pay slip, we risk hitting that demand curve, making it quite low to the point where people are just really surviving on the basic.
We are in an unpredictable environment. The manufacturers remain very cautious to the extent that you suspend your expansion plans. And then the option you're remaining with is just to probably reduce your workforce to remain afloat or increase the cost of your products.
The manufacturers are also warning of similar occurrence in the sector if the policy unpredictability is not addressed.
We've already seen a couple of taxes that have come in the past that have affected business, and through those taxes you're left with only one option, and that option is either reduce your staff in order to sustain the operation of the manufacturing.
Even as the government maintains that the economy is on an upward trajectory, Mentoria's chief economist Ken Gishinga says that the metrics the government uses to measure economic performance is skewed in favor of government procurement, creating a false confidence for the government.
There is definitely disconnects between sometimes captains of industry, monetary policy, fiscal policy, but I think people tend to look at that growth number of 5%, but I think people sometimes read too much into that growth number because, yes, it's 5%, but it's public spending that's driving that 5%. Private sector remains particularly weak, and that's why inflation is quite low, because it means people are not demanding for goods and services.
Meanwhile, President William Ruto, Chief Economic Advisor David Ndii, has downplayed the impact of the news in a series of posts on X, formerly Twitter, noting that, and I quote, "In a market economy, businesses start and fail every day. Some hire and some fire. Some grow and some shrink. We measure economic performance by aggregate, for example, macro-level outcome. As they say, one swallows does not make a summer." Experts are now calling on Kenyans to brace themselves for further tightening by organization as they seek to protect business continuity. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.